Die Hard, Air Force One, 24, Pearl Harbor, all portray terrorism and war as these loud, bombastic, action-packed events that always have some conventionally attractive hero come to save the day from the brink of destruction. And that's what makes Kathryn Bigelow's Zero Dark 30 stand out so strongly. This film follows the somewhat fictionalized events of the CIA's hunt for Osama bin Laden following 9/11, starting in 2003 and ending with the 2011 assault on bin Laden's compound. The film focuses on the experiences of Maya Harris, played by Jessica Chastain, as she leads the charge to finding bin Laden's location. The film plays out more of a thriller than an action movie, which makes its classification interesting since the vast majority of the film features bureaucracy and conflict in the chain of command. This is contrasted by a handful of scenes throughout depicting shootings, bombings, and riots, but all builds up to the final assault on bin Laden's compound, which acts as the only lengthy action sequence of the film. An aspect that is strikingly different about the film right off the bat is the way it represents the local people of the Middle Eastern countries it shows. In contrast to other terrorist and war cinema, the opposing side isn't portrayed as unfathomably evil or inhuman, but instead are shown to be people on the same level as the protagonists of the story. This means the film avoids the insensitivities common in the genre, aiding in the film's realistic and grounded tone as it isn't represented as an idealized version of events. This attitude of proudly displaying the film's events as matter of fact is summarized well by Grace Foster as they write, "Zero Dark 30 invites its viewers to fact-check it, yet there is no comprehensive account of the facts against which a viewer can reliably check the film's narrative, especially not in 2012. Foster's comment also brings up another aspect about the film's atmosphere. It knows that its representation of events is hard to dispute. That's not to say, however, that I'm trying to imply that Zero Dark 30 is purposely misleading its audience. There's no way I could possibly know that. This simply stands as another example of how the film differs from other historically inspired military films. Because if you were to compare it to, say, Pearl Harbor, then it's obvious how Zero Dark 30 takes a much more realistic approach to portraying warfare. The film's portrayal of, what is politely called, enhanced interrogation techniques, is another aspect that leads into the strongly grounded and downbeat atmosphere. The CIA operatives are shown to be doing horrible things to gain information out of prisoners, but crucially, they aren't enjoying it. The film features one of these interrogations very early on, with the interrogator being Daniel Fuller, who is a fictional character that stands in for the real CIA operatives that reportedly carried out these acts. Juliette Rogers provides commentary on how the character's interrogator position is reflected in his attitude as a person. In the scene of torture, such as that illuminated in Zero Dark 30, Daniel has the sanction of his superiors, and this is crucial to his performance of torture, which relieves Daniel of not only responsibility, but of being accused of exercising enjoyment. Creating this need for the character to be able to separate themselves from the acts that they are committing strengthens the film's grounded tone as it conveys that the operatives are people who are affected by the actions they're taking in the name of hunting down bin Laden. This display of enhanced interrogation in Zero Dark 30 can be linked to the attitude held by the public towards the practice, that being one of skepticism and disdain. Though due to the classified nature of the hunt for bin Laden, a significant amount of the true events were not revealed to the public until sometime after his death. Though this did create the morbidly amusing situation that's summarized here by Lisa Hajar. The White House reportedly was surprised that a revived torture debate could overtake the celebratory coverage of the killing of the world's most hunted and wanted man. More information had to be released to persuade the public that it was not the waterboard but normal interrogation procedures and years of conventional spy work and electronic surveillance that had led the CIA to the Abbottabad compound. The concept that the White House was shocked about a public disdain for enhanced interrogation is what I find morbidly amusing, though the bizarre situation did cause more of the actual methods to be publicized, which allowed Zero Dark 30 greater accuracy in its depiction of the hunt. Something distinctly worth remarking about is the way the film uses all these aspects to provide an experience that is distinctly neutral on the tone of conflict. Though given the subject matter is inherently depressing, the film comes out as anti-war, which overall was almost definitely Bigelow's intentions, as they know the post 9/11 audience they're making the film for. Michael J. Shapiro discusses the way film festivals changed following 9/11 in the delightfully titled article, The New Violent Cartography, as they write, "There is another kind of display space that is available and increasingly used by those who supply images that contest militarization, securitization, and violence. Increasingly, contemporary film festivals provide a venue for films with significant anti-violence and anti-war themes and cinematic styles." Which brings me back to my opening statement. Pre-9/11 cinema was swept up in the idea of heroes saving the day and the global superpowers being inherently untouchable by terrorism, while post-9/11 changed the focus onto the horrors of war and the reality of conflict overseas. 0.30 stands not only as a suspenseful thriller about hunting terrorists, but also as an earnest depiction of the hunt for the most notorious terrorists of all time. The film allows the narrative to flow in a way that doesn't gloss over the inevitable downtime between discovering pieces of information, and instead it uses it to develop its characters further, aiding in its showing of the effects that unsavory methods have on those who carry them out. The film stands out as an extremely strong example of modern terrorist and war cinema, as it provides a grounded and uninvolved view into the hunt for bin Laden, one of the largest manhunts in history, but it does so without sacrificing character or intensity.